So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Mars, Venus in the second house of your birth chart, as in what happens when Venus and Mars are conjunct in the second house together. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here, astrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and also link to my academy, Magavadi Astrology Academy, where you will see my current course, Nandi Nadi course that I'm currently teaching. Especially the point I'm at is with Venus and Jupiter Bhachakra, which is connected with marriage and money. Just you see it. So anyway, Venus and Mars in the second house. So second house is known as the house of Kutumba, meaning the family that you enter into, because you're born and your first house is who you are and you're born. And then what happens is you enter the second house, which is your family that you meet. Whether you're from hospital, you're going into your home, or whether you're having a home birth, but as soon as you come out, that first house now suddenly moves into the second house. So you're meeting Venus and Mars there. And second house also represents your food habits, your money, savings, wealth, potential of earning. And here we see very easily, right? Just like that 1 second thing. As soon as this person gets married, whether it's a female or male, doesn't matter. This is where the money begins to find its energy. Money begins to find its energy. And especially you will see with these people, if they somehow lack the ability to save money, they have a hard time saving money, because on one hand, Venus wants to have all the money, and Mars, on the other hand, wants to spend all that money. But as soon as Venus Mars take on their own blended combination at work, this is where you slowly start to see savings actually rising up. And that is when your money is being physically worked. Which means not only you're physically being worked, your money's being physically worked. This is very important particular conjunction for a person to always set aside money for either investment or retirement. Doesn't matter whether you're doing fixed deposit, money market accounts, ETFs, retirement accounts. You must, the moment you start working, even at 19, you're working at Starbucks. Let's say you're making $700 a week. I don't care, put $20, $40 out that you don't even see. Once you start making that habit, you will see now this conjunction is like, okay, we need to have more money because we're working and we need to, it's like a grinder. It needs more things to grind. Money starts to build. The more this person exerts their time towards playing sports, working out, the more the money begins to starts turning. It's like a locomotive suddenly getting that steam to go forward. And you will see, especially with Venus and Mars together, you will see the wife will spend money on you. Wife will want you to actually go and buy yourself your toy that you want. Remember, Venus, Mars, as much as, yes, it shows, you're going to deal with some heartbreaks. The stab in the wound in your heart will happen. But I'm talking about when you finally meet that person and that knot is tied. This is a beautiful placement to wanting to be in a luxury environment. But here's the thing. When you have Venus and Mars in the second, you cannot run after cheap things. You cannot become stingy about things. When you do such things, for example, let's say you're going to go buy yourself a sweatshirt because it's winter. And you're like, well, if I go for that good quality 100% cotton sweatshirt, it's going to cost me $150 or $120. Or I can go to Amazon, get a $22 shirt, and just wear that. Then you hear these things of multimillionaires who write books like, oh, we never, spent money anywhere. I still drive a Toyota. I still do this. And this is how I build my wealth. And the entire world gets wrapped up into that inspirational, motivational cycle that, oh, this is how it's done. So I'm going to start copying this person while you don't get it. Why? Because I've looked into it, people who have written these things, and if they had their horoscope, I'm like, of course, they're supposed to be doing exactly what they wrote. But if they knew about astrology, if they knew about especially Vedic astrology, they'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I should write this book. Maybe I should just be like a little bit subjective. That, yeah, it may work for some people, not for all. So when you start following these broad philosophy, then you're like, okay, I tried following this person's method. Money didn't come. Money didn't save. Why? Because that's not you. You're not supposed to be becoming that stingy as that author who wrote that. You're supposed to have good quality things in your possession. And the more you do that, Venus is going to be becoming better and better. Remember, Mars is athleticism. Mars is a soldier, fighter, police, all of that. So, right? So usually what happens is when you buy anything which is a bit sporty, like a sweatshirt, sweatpants, okay, um, any workout clothes, you can't go cheap because now you're telling Venus, yeah, you're not that valuable. I'm just gonna get this $20 thing. I don't care if you have to save up for 3 extra months to get something decent, but you get decent because that creates that momentum. Remember, you want to steam. It takes a bit, right? A coal locomotive to move. The steam slowly starts building up. Then it moves slowly, slowly. And then the next thing you know, within 5 minutes, it's like going full force. And the other thing, money is going to be built through fixed assets. Fixed asset, people think that I have to have cash in order for me to be rich. Most of the billionaires, if you look at their bank account, they probably don't even have half a million in their bank account. Most of it's all assets. Mars is Bhumi Karka, Bhumi Putra. That means it's earth. It's something physical and solid. Venus is money, right? So here it shows the more person focuses on attaining assets that grows, money comes. For example, real estate. One can make money through real estate with this. Now, of course, I'm only looking at Venus and Mars. I'm not looking at 3 planetary conjunctions that you have or other aspects that you're receiving because that will alter this particular thing. But it does show, regardless, one should be focused on investment and especially even making money through dealing with land. And yes, you can even see a lot of great musicians with Mars and Venus in the second because you hear aggression uh, in their throat. You hear aggression. So whether it's, let's say, Punjabi hip hop or regular hip hop and punk rock or rock and pop, anywhere there's loud screams are coming. Sometimes even in ragas, you will hear sudden depth and sudden high pitch. This is where money comes in. And especially one thing that's important with Venus and Mars in the second is that this person they're going to make money through their speech. But if your speech is soft, people won't pay attention to you. The moment your speech is rugged and aggressive and straightforward, people start paying attention to you. Again, comes back to that book that you read of being a millionaire because you watched your colleague, very soft spoken, very nice, and somehow the customer is attracted to that person to do that transaction. And you're not that way, but you're like, oh my God, let me try this. And you become polite and you become nice. And the customer just falls asleep. There's like, yeah, I'll think about it. I'll let you know. Why? Because you're not following your own constitution. If you are supposed to be the high-pitched, strong person to talk about that product to sell, that's how you're going to get your customer. This is why you can't copy one method to someone else. There is a zodiac sign where, yeah, you can copy and replicate somebody else's success method, but whenever we're looking at it, just planets, you can't do that. You have to know exactly what you're going to have to do. For example, you're not a comedic person, but the other salesperson makes jokes. They're natural comedic people, and that's the vibration that the customer they're attracting. You try to do that, and it will sound cringe, right? So, this is why always follow your own constitution. But one of the biggest things you will see with Venus Mars in the second, okay, um, you have to work like a bull in order to make money. You can never look at somebody's success stories that, oh my god, they got like 50 properties, they have money through interest rate coming where they don't have to work a single second. How do I do that? The moment you think, how do I do that with Venus Mars in the second, you're already on your trajectory to fall and lose. You have to work. You're one of those people, like, for example, if you look, and again, I don't like giving these examples. First of all, it doesn't even have that placement, but if you see, the aspect is there. Mars and Venus, for example, in Amitabh Bachchan's chart, is in the 8th house looking at the second house. The man is 83, 82 years old, and to this day works every day. He could have retired in 2010, 2005 if he wanted to, but to this day, there's no point of retirement. He just wants to work because he is that bull, right? But in the second house, it becomes more important because second house is the home of the bull. So you have to work. Any planet in the second house that is there, you have to work like the bull related to that planet. And this again signifies what? When it comes to marriage, you have to work continuously on the marriage too. For, like they say, it's actually a much easier path to becoming successful, right? It's easier to just work hard, and then become the next Taylor Swift, or become the next Beyonce, or become the next Lata Mangeshkar. But you know what's the hardest part, which is 100 times harder, is keeping your status at that point. Like how Michael Jackson needs to be Michael Jackson. But no, everybody rises and everybody goes down at one point. Okay, so it's a continuous work in marriage. And you have to be, the more physically active you are in marriage, the better your marriage will do. And I'm not talking about the intimacy side. That's one thing. When you have Venus and Mars in the second house, both you and your spouse should go work out together. Both you and your spouse should work together in the kitchen cooking. You're doing that physical activity together. Both of you should go out every evening, walk together. As long as that is happening, as long as that is there, the marriage will be very passionate. The moment you want to do your own thing and the spouse is doing their own thing, now this machine starts to get junk in it. Because if it's a machine, because second house will produce a machine. If it's a machine and if it doesn't work and you don't turn it on for 2 years, some of the components may not work. They have to be lubricated. They have to work together in order for them to produce a good result. Okay. For example, if you can even be in technology with this combination, and one thing you should always focus on is technology that is either connected with sound, food, money. Okay. Sound, food, money. Because when I'm talking, sound is coming out. So, for example, you create a software that helps with something related to AI, which is, of course, is happening all over the place. Something related to food you create. Some banking ways, new ways you should, like somebody should be making the new PayPal, where the world then will be yours. That's how your money is going to be generated. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Venus, Mars in the second house of your birth chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And we want to know where your Venus, Mars are placed, along with all my consultation and details. You can go to karasastrology.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later.